Roll call, please.
Commissioner Richardson,
Present.
Commissioner Del Bazillo,
Present.
Commissioner Daley, and Commissioner Pesavich.
Here.
And
And
then
since we are videotaping this, could you tell me where that camera is pointed?
It's kind of pointed towards you, but it takes in the whole field from that edge of the table to the edge of the table.
We've had people comment
Yeah,
that it just reflects the back of the heads of the executive director and
I was told by two people that
I gotta be honest.
I
I gotta be honest, I kind of feel it's like intimidating and harassing, and I think that it is in poor taste.
so
so
if you let me put the camera in another location.
and if
Weather's fine.
I think
Is my good side?
if you are,
That is your
Well, I
good
could put
side.
it over by the computer.
yeah, if you are going to
That would be
videotape the
better.
meeting, I think it should be placed elsewhere.
Okay,
That way I don't bother anybody.
so that what?
So that, you know, it reflects the entire board here.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, it's just like I said, I only have one camera, so it's like you only can pick one angle. If I had multiple cameras, it would be a more professional production, but, you know.
Hey, can I ask where they're posted, where are these meetings posted?
Marshfield Community Media. They have a section called the government section, where all the different government boards and committees are archived.
Thank you.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of December 5th board meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to approve December 5th meeting, minutes of the meeting.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
All those in
All
favor?
those in,
Cecilia Del Vigilio, yes.
Could you just be everyone, unless there's somebody that disagrees? All those in favor?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against?
Can we do like a roll call?
Sure.
That way,
Pesavich?
Yeah, they're basically, yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Daley?
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you.
Next item is the Tenants Association. Helen is not here.
Helen Bennett is not here. She called the office and she asked me to report that they had a wonderful Christmas party. The food from St. Christina's was excellent. There was plenty of it. The association added to it and had the tables all set up nicely with cheese and crackers, and I guess there was some shrimp cocktail, and everybody had a wonderful time. She thanked everybody for helping, and there was a Santa and an elf. And she especially wanted to thank. So everybody in attendance had a wonderful time. And attendance was down because of COVID concerns, but attendance was down, but everyone got a meal. And those, I believe, were sent to people that didn't come here. That had COVID.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other tenant business? Yes.
I just have a question. I was asked to ask about the refrigerators, how it's coming along.
We're still trying to pursue that grant.
Still doing
We've
it?
applied for it, but we haven't been approved yet, so yet.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Ron?
Yeah, I have a question. John Clark, 18 Searock Gardens. Mr. Pesovich, you publicly stated that sometime between the hours of the last board meeting on December 5th and the morning of December 6th that 4 lug nuts were removed from your tire. You further stated that you observed suspicious activity at the last board meeting. Can you please specify the specific suspicious activity you observed as this affects the community as a whole? Did you report any of this to your fellow board members or the management of Marshfield Housing Authority? Have you received any updates from the Marshfield Police Department? Respectfully, tenant to T-Rock Gardens.
I have no comment,
No comment?
except that a police report was filed.
Could you please make a
Yep.
record after following?
Thank you.
Over here.
Yes.
Hi, Robin Dunn, T-Rock 13. If there was suspicious activity seen, I just don't understand why nothing has been said to anybody in here. And James, how's those cameras coming?
They are in our capital plan, so they'll be an upcoming project.
Good. I still would like to know what the suspicious activity was.
And it's a police thing right now, as far as I know.
So
But you don't think that you should tell your members?
No comment.
I do have, I do have a question, because if it happened at our meeting, any one of us could have been affected, or anybody,
Tenants?
any resident walking during that time. Because shouldn't
You don't care?
there's be some
I beg your
information?
pardon?
You don't care? That people are worried about it?
No comment. I'm very concerned about the safety.
So-
Thank you.
the commissioner has said that he does not want to give a comment. I'll ask, make a question. Do you think that we could get a copy of the police report?
You should be able to, yes.
So, could we make a note that we request the Marshfield Police Department to provide us with a copy of the police report? That way, hopefully, we'll find out what this suspicious activity was, and if it affected any residents or any other commissioners or any staff people of the 2HA. Is that satisfactory to everybody?
You got one here.
This activity happened here?
That's what he stated, yeah.
No comment.
No comment. You can read the police report if you like.
But
So
you implied, sorry.
Once we get a copy of the police report, I'm not sure, I'm not sure of the technicalities, whether or not that report could be sent by email to the commissioners and to the QHA staff, or whether or not it can be posted. We'll follow the guidelines of the police department as to what we can do with that report. And it may be that we can only read it at the next meeting. I'm not sure.
I would just like to publicly state that I feel the residents have a right to know. I mean, it affects the community as a whole. You threw it out there, but you don't care to elaborate on it. I just find that sad.
Are the rest of us in any kind of danger?
I think you really should, like I said, have no comment right now. It doesn't make sense to get into a big, long debate about all the aspects of security. It affected me, and it's not on the agenda, and you can read the police report and go from there.
Well, part of the agenda is the comments from the tenants association and the tenants. So it becomes part of the agenda because it's included.
Not on the fly, though. You can't just say, this is a tenant concern, and now we're going to talk about it.
Well, any tenants' concerns we talk about at the board meeting. That's protocol.
Over here.
Is it?
So, I don't know any of the details, I'm just hearing kind of little bits and pieces, but it appears to me that Commissioner Pesovich was the victim of a potential crime, and he reported that crime, and he's under no obligation to go beyond that. Now that the crime has been reported to the authorities, if you have concerns about safety in this area relative to incidents like that, it would be incumbent upon you to go to the authorities. And we're gonna try to do that, get that police report and any other related police reports. But I don't think it's incumbent upon Commissioner Pesovich to go beyond his, his comments.
I'm just pursuant to all of this discussion. Part of your responsibilities as the commissioner is to look out for our safety. And it seems like if there's something that could involve our safety, then you have a responsibility to the residents and to the board to report that and explain it.
Yeah, I understand it was reported, so.
But I mean to us, not just
At least to
legally.
management.
It's not helpful to continue this because you could misinterpret something. I don't want to get into speculation and misinterpretation. It's an incident that happened, it was reported, it was an offense against me. It could have killed me or killed somebody on the road. Okay, when a wheel flies off, okay? So I am affected and I do care. Okay?
Don't point your finger at me.
I am affected, okay, whatever. I am affected and I do care.
If it
All right? So I think
involves
if you want to
us,
keep this going, Chairman, it's just going to devolve. As we've seen.
I think we've concluded it, that we will get a copy of the police report and we'll act accordingly based upon the police guidance. Anything else from the tenants? Okay, thank you. Next item is the accounts payable and the payments. Any of the commissioners have any questions?
Yes. Hopefully you get through this. This was something, the first item, Mr. Chairman, payment number 15661 talks about a $63,000 settlement. And I see a reference as attorneys for John Berg. I see a reference to John Bergero. I know, without getting into personal details, could someone give me an idea what that was for? And who's John Berg and who's John Bergero? I see John Berg and John Bergero.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure how much of this should be discussed at this meeting. This is a legal matter that the state of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, DHCD, is the representative for the Housing Authority, and anything regarding this matter should be discussed outside of the meeting, I believe.
I agree with that. That's fair.
Thank you.
That's fair, but it obviously involved the Marshfield Housing Authority. I mean, it's within our purview, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, thank you. Next item, I had a question of, if I may, Mr. Chairman, was item 15666, Bay State sewage disposal.
As for the septic pumping for our septic systems,
Which one?
it was either Grace Rider or here, or both. Grace Rider for that one.
Grace Rider pump out. The next question I have, if I may, Mr. Chairman, it's on the top of page 2. I think it's payment 15669, but it kind of like, continues over from the previous page. That's Comcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
That's for you today.
The next one was 15671. It says a Felix grant. Can someone tell me what a Felix grant is?
I think it's the flex spending.
15671.
I think it's regarding the flex spending.
Flex spending, so is that a misspelled typo?
Probably. in the
To
memo. That's just in the memo.
Would you repeat the payment number, please?
15671.
It's
That's to
reimbursement.
Eleanor.
It's an employee reimbursement for expenses,
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Chairman.
But I should know what Felix was, is that a
It's
program?
It would
like-
be, it would be the account that we charge to the grant. It's a grant position and it has grant spending, so it would be to,
So the reimbursement to her was funded from the grant?
Correct.
Because she's a grant employee.
that's correct.
But it's Flex, not Felix.
Correct.
Okay,
It's
thank
like
you.
that.
Let's see, I had another one here. Moving on down the road here. Payment 15701, Ivy Creative, is that a monthly or is that a job specific? It says MHA website.
That's for updates to the website.
Updates, okay. Oh, as a related matter, I noticed Mr. Daly's name is not on the website yet, just an aside.
I'll make sure that happens. Thank you.
Then the other thing I had was 15708, there's a number of work orders. Managed agency payment for October and November, and then work orders. I would like to maybe get some more information on those particular work orders. I noticed that they're cataloged here.
Yeah,
I think we've discussed that in the past. I think that's been,
Yeah, I'm gonna like to get some more information on those particular work orders if I would. And I'll call in the office.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. The other thing that I had. The SMETA meeting on this payment, it's on page 9, but it looks like it starts on page 8. SMETA, 15709, Dartmouth Housing Authority, SMETA. Is that, what is that?
SMETA is
Organization.
Southern Massachusetts Executive Directors
Oh, okay.
Association.
Thank
And
you.
those are monthly meetings that that the staff attends.
I promise I won't have to ask that again.
Okay.
And then the other one was, let's see, Wex Bank, 15715.
Government gas card.
Oh, okay, thank you. When you see a bank and then you see fuel, then it's like, no,
That's a service that we use.
excellent, yeah, okay.
The only, well, anybody else have any questions on this payment? Only other one I had was 15678, where we paid Eversource a large amount versus most of the other ones are smaller amounts.
So that would be one of the bigger meters. So that was probably here.
Yeah, probably.
Probably here.
I'm sorry.
It was one of the larger meters. So it was probably a meter for here.
This building has a separate meter?
They all do.
They all do, yeah.
That's why you have so many Eversource
Yep.
bills there.
Is that typical? Do you notice, is
Yes.
that typical,
Yes.
2,900?
Mhm.
Why so high, I wonder? I mean, relative, I mean, just wondering. Are the dryers electric here? or-
They are.
They are.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to accept the payables.
May I modify that just to some extent?
Absolutely.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the payment detail report for payment numbers 15661
Okay.
through 15715 for the total amount of $156,029.19.
I will second it.
All those
All in
in favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Approved unanimously. Next is a motion to approve and authorize the executive director to purchase a 2024 GMC Sierra 2500 four-wheel drive regular cab pickup truck with a snowplow. Truck will be purchased from Clark Buick GMC of Braintree. The total cost of the truck will be, total cost of the truck, including the snowplow, will be $61,364. The truck will be purchased through the municipal financing plan with 36 months equal payments.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just modify that motion, it's actually not 36 monthly equal payments, it's 3 annual payments. So the municipal purchasing agreement for purchasing municipal vehicles allows you to make 3 equal payments over 3 years, and at the end of those 3 payments, you own the vehicle. So, so instead of paying all the money up front, you'd be paying 3 different payments. So you'd pay 1 payment this year, 1 payment next year, and then the 3rd year would be the last payment for the purchase of the vehicle.
It falls under 30B?
I'm sorry?
It falls under 30B without bidding or anything like that? Or?
We'll procure 3 prices for the truck.
Oh, okay.
And availability comes into play. If you can't get responses from other dealers, they have to have the truck.
Yeah.
So it's, we'll make sure that we get 3 prices for the vehicle, but
Any, and do we have a second on the amended motion?
I have a question.
First, let's see if we get a second.
Did you have a first?
I don't think we had a first yet.
I'll make a motion to approve and authorize the executive director to purchase a 2024 GMC Sierra 2500 four-wheel drive regular cab pickup truck with the snowplow. The truck will be purchased from a dealer. And the total cost of the truck will be approximately $61,364, which includes the snowplow. And will be purchased through the municipal financing plan with 3 annual payments.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
What's the time frame on that? What are you hoping for on that?
we're going to order it right away. The current vehicle that we have is 20 years old this year. It's rotted on the bottom. Last year, we welded the frame and we welded the leaf springs on. The truck has far exceeded its life expectancy.
Big trade-in from that?
No. More than likely, we'll just keep it as a yard truck until it needs, if it needs another major repair, we'll just junk it. So,
And this truck is kept on the premises here?
that's correct.
I'm kind of curious, does court charge for this estimate? They don't charge for the estimate, do they?
No.
They just, okay, that's good. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to second it.
All
Oh,
those
you already seconded it, I'm sorry.
We're ready for a vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Next item is motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 budget for the 400-1 program with revenues of $956,895, total expenses of $859,445, thereby requesting a subsidy of $284,734. And the executive director's salary is 0 on that. I did go through,
We did a motion?
Well,
We're going to do a motion and then discussion?
is there a second on that?
for discussion, because I have a question.
Well, first we second it.
Yes, I'll second
and
it.
then- Okay, and then now we'll have discussion.
May I? I have a question on, what is pilot? That's one item I don't
Pilot
remember
is,
seeing.
pilot is payment in lieu of taxes. Because we're the housing authority, we're a state agency,
Mhm.
we don't pay real estate taxes. So we make a payment in lieu of taxes to the town. It's the way that most housing authorities are set up, if not all.
Okay.
It's based on their bed counts. Number
Per
of bedrooms.
beds,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
That makes sense then, because I was trying to figure it out. Thank you.
So has everybody had the opportunity to go through the June 30th, 2024 fiscal year ending budget summary for the 401 program? And then also on that sheet is the MRVP program.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment. I said, is this not the same annual budget we talked about 3 or 4 months ago?
I think you voted on the closeout of last year, so now you're voting on the new budget for this year. So you have to vote the year end, which you did. That's to close out the year. This is for the new fiscal year budget.
So we voted on the June 30th, 2023 closeout.
That's right.
And now what's being presented is the June
Yeah.
2024 fiscal year budget.
Correct.
I have a general question. When you compare the overall budget, like the fiscal 24 and 23 budget totals, there's an increase from 593 to 631. The only thing that stands out, I know there's going to be give and take down through the columns, but the biggest increase appears to be in administrative salaries.
I believe that's because we hired a grant position, but you receive a grant to offset that
Right.
salary.
Okay.
So the salary is going to increase, but it's going to be deducted. Get the money back from DHCD through your budget. You get an exemption, and they'll pay for that grant position.
Thank you. Being new at this, it's like, I don't have a lot of data to go on compared to what some people might have. But I also noticed that settlement, we're not going to talk about today, but that was kind of worked into the budget.
Right.
And
So
again, the increase still is being reflected by the hiring.
just to clarify this for the board, anytime that the state makes a settlement on behalf of the housing authority to legal counsel, the housing authority pays the initial settlement and then is reimbursed through DHCD through the budget exemption, less your deductible.
Less the deductible?
Correct.
What is that deductible?
I think it's different for property. For property, it's 9,000.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure on
I
that.
think it was higher on the
On the
other.
liability claim, I think it might be higher,
Okay.
but I can get that figure for you.
That's okay. That's,
But you'll see that'll be reimbursed through your budget exemption.
thank you.
Now, and one other thing is this proposed, this budget, this is fiscal 24. I'm just wondering, we're in fiscal 24 right now.
That's correct.
Are we a little late doing this?
No,
When is this typically due?
it's due now.
January?
The budget is prepared by the accountants, and they work with DHCD on submitting this in. And typically, I mean, you'll submit this in, and DHCD may not approve this until the fiscal year is over.
Right.
It's the way that the budgets work, it's the way the budget cycle works with DHCD. There's really not much we can do about it.
We've had times in the past where we've actually approved this in probably February or March.
Hmm,
And
I
Interesting.
think last year was May, before they approved our budget.
Yeah, I mean, we can submit it in now, and you might not hear from them until May or June before they approve it, and your fiscal year's over in June. But that's how it is.
Maintenance supervisor on page 6 of the attachments, it says is that a cut position, maintenance supervisor? Is that being cut? says down 100%, right?
That's because you don't have a maintenance supervisor anymore. You have
We had one though in 20.
you have an employee who typically is reimbursed through Marshfield to Quincy. He's the supervisor.
I see. So that's now QHA. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman, right now.
Mr.
Anybody
Chairman,
else have any questions?
you'll also need to sign the certifications.
Everyone,
So,
even if they're not here.
all those in favor of the motion to approve the 400-1 program, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that's
My only comment
passed
is,
unanimously.
my only comment is.
Then we have a motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 budget for the MRVP program with revenue of $12,600, total expenses of $9,853, thereby requesting a subsidy of $0. And again, the executive director's salary is $0. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion on that?
Just give me a second to double check. That's that, that's nothing. I was just struck by the number, by 12,600. Is that really the extent of our MRVP?
Yes, you have a small MRVP program.
It's the subsidy, it's subsidizes.
Right.
Yep.
Approximately how many is that?
How many people are on the
Yeah.
MRVP? I think you have 15 on there.
Really? Interesting. I was just struck by that. I thought the number would be higher. Not that I'm an expert on it, but.
That's the difference between what the tenant pays and what the housing authority pays.
Right. But what town?
No.
Housing authority.
Tenant,
Right.
what the tenant pays.
Right, what the tenant pays and the housing
The
authority
tenant.
pays. Yeah, that's the difference, what we pay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Seeing none, passes unanimously. I just wanted to congratulate QHA on providing a nice detailed report. It's the best one I've seen in my years on the authority. And it's just very easy to follow,
Very detailed.
and appreciate all the work that went into this.
Thank you.
Yes.
I do want to just say that one of the reasons why we're purchasing the vehicle is you will notice that on your reserves, we are now at 85% reserves. So it makes sense to buy the vehicle that you need at this time.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to comment on, is that it looks like we are hitting that threshold above where we should be.
We are.
So we have to
Yes.
actually reduce our reserves.
Yes.
I was assuming that was one of the reasons why we're purchasing a new vehicle.
You are correct.
And I don't remember the percentage on the maximum reserve. Once we hit a certain percent, if we continue to maintain that percentage over and above the maximum reserve, we could pay that money back to the state. So it behooves us to spend the money on behalf of the
The balancing act.
Does anybody remember what that maximum percentage is?
I think it's 100. No, you have to maintain a minimum of 45.
You have to maintain a minimum, but then you have that max also. So,
I think 85 is a pretty healthy reserve for an agency this size. So I think we're in good shape.
Definitely. I would like to ask that we invite Grace to the next meeting.
John Murray is the new
Yeah.
Director of Finance.
Oh,
He's the new Grace.
He's the new Grace.
I missed that.
Yes.
So if we could invite John, just to, maybe he could present the
Sure,
December numbers to the board,
sure.
or if he doesn't have the December numbers, whatever ones are the latest.
Yeah, I'll check with the accountants. I know they just finished this, so
So when did John start?
3 months ago.
3 months.
So mid-October, I
I
think.
haven't tried calling Grace.
You haven't emailed him?
You gotta ask for John Murray.
Number.
He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
I believe he was at the Quincy
Yes.
property.
Yes, he was,
Yeah.
yeah. Nice guy.
Yeah, very nice.
All right. Thank you.
Would that be who I would be in contact with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
John Murray?
Yes.
Okay.
Colleen can give you his
You can
information.
always send it to me.
He can give you his email address.
Okay.
Could you send his email address to all the commissioners and phone contact, please?
I can have him come to the next board meeting just to meet you anyway.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sure.
I missed the Quincy Housing Authority party, I probably would have met him there.
Yeah, you would have.
He left after the burgers.
Next one is discussion and review of other housing authority bylaws and/or templates and Marshfield Housing Authority bylaws to determine if the MHA will adopt and/or modify the MHA bylaws. Have all the commissioners had the opportunity to review?
Nope, not me.
and,
I'd like to see what you have for a template.
I sent them. I emailed them.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
I emailed it
Uh-uh.
to all of you. It was on you're on my email list.
I'm sorry.
Did you receive them?
But
John, did you receive them?
I can try, look at, I mean, they're not there, number one, but my feeling is that, I'm sorry, I'm not making,
I know you were on the list,
yeah.
and I looked at, I'm almost positive your email was correct.
It did bounce back to me, so.
Okay,
No, none of them bounced back to me.
You might want to check your spam folder.
yeah, I do, that could have happened too, but also I had recent problems with email. I'll tell you that.
So do you want hard copies mailed to you?
Sure.
So, you know, I don't want to discuss this unless we've.
You might want to table it till next month if he hasn't had a chance to see it.
But one thing I will say, if I may, Mr. Chairman, is that once we have that, I'll have that template, we will treat it as a draft, is that what we're doing?
Correct.
Okay. Because we have other housing authority.
Well, we don't have any, we have a template. I don't believe we have a template. We have copies of 3 different housing authorities bylaws, and then we also have our own bylaw, the original bylaws. So we're looking at all 4
Yeah.
to determine
Yep.
what we should implement.
And I've been doing a little digging myself, and I've come across a few other cities and towns. So,
Well, if you want to consider any other cities and towns, sorry. If you want to consider any other cities and towns, could you please send those templates to everybody else so we can review?
I'll make notes and I'll share what I can.
Thank you. So we'll table the discussion on the bylaws. Next item on the agenda was the discussion on whether any commissioner wishes to suggest modifications to any MHA policies based on the discussion during the December 2023 meeting.
Jim, I just had some general, maybe minor questions, but I would assume that if the residents had issues, that it would come up at their, residents association meeting. and that those concerns would get conveyed to us. But I haven't heard of anything. The other thing is, there's some things that kind of stuck out a little bit when I was going through the policies. Is that and bear with me, there's a prohibition against open flames.
Say that again?
Prohibition against open flames.
That's correct.
You can't even have candles?
No,
No.
Not of any sort?
no, the property's not sprinkled.
Oh, okay.
So if you had open flames and there was a fire, most likely, possibly somebody could get killed.
Somebody's 80th birthday party?
Yeah, we don't allow open flames of any kind in any of the housing authorities.
And all the units are like smoke detector and CO detector?
They do have smoke detectors, yes.
Do they have heat detectors? I'm just wondering.
No,
Okay. And then the other thing I was wondering about pets. Do we have pets here?
we do.
Okay. And they're all within the guidelines?
That's correct.
Service or under 30 pounds, right?
Mhm.
And there hasn't been an issue with that? You know,
No.
any yappy dogs or anything like
No,
that? Also, the definition of guests, is that working out okay? Is there
that's a
any-
state
State.
definition.
Okay.
It's a state language in the lease.
So that governs the number of consecutive days a guest can stay?
It's a state policy.
Okay.
It's calendar year.
It's by the calendar year?
That's
Like a
correct.
number of nights in a calendar year? I think I've
Yes.
seen that, yeah. That's all I had. I know, maybe minor.
Okay. Thank you.
Other than that, I didn't see anything that stuck out that needed modification in answer to your,
Say that again?
in answer to the query, I didn't see anything that needed modification personally.
Next item is discussion, potential vote on the reorganization of the MHA Board of Commissioners. We did discuss this at last meeting. We tabled it for this meeting. My recommendation is that we table it again. And we also may want to consider tabling it until we approve the bylaws, because the bylaws will tell us, you know, which officers we're going to have. And then we may also want to consider tabling it until after the May election. Because I'm not sure if it makes sense to appoint new officers in February or March if there's going to be an election in April.
I agree. Just one comment, though. We talked about the different titles of the positions, and I think on the secretary's position, I don't think we have a secretary.
We do. That's.
It's an ex officio director.
Mhm.
Right, so the secretary doesn't come from the board.
No.
Right.
Correct.
So there's no need for, really,
Well, we have to appoint the secretary.
we have to actually say the secretary is according to the regulations, okay?
Yeah, I think in like unusual circumstances, if the secretary can't perform, then one of the board can
Oh, I see.
also fall into that temporarily.
Because the regulations say you can establish any board, any officer position according to whatever you want. But these are the basics.
But the secretary has to be an ex officio.
Right.
And it has to be the executive director of the housing authority.
But as John was saying, if the secretary can't perform, which I don't see that happening.
Correct.
One of you is always going to be here.
Correct. So everybody agrees we'll table this to at least the February meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The update on the new LHA mandatory board member training. I know I've never received another email from.
I've contacted Lisa Taylor, who's our specialist. She has not responded to me yet. I do know from my senior meeting that many housing authorities received the notification that none of their board members received the email. On the one housing authority that did, brace yourselves, it's a 6-hour training.
6 hours.
6-hour training.
That should be fun.
So as soon as I hear back, I'll be happy to send out an email to all of you.
Okay, thank you.
Is that the, it must be the one I went through in June, July, whatever.
That was on the website?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just
just got
hours.
to.
No, this is a new one. I
This
think.
It was long, it was lengthy.
This one supposedly takes 6 hours to
And
get.
then there was an ethics one, I think, too, which also was shorter.
Yeah.
But I think it was 6 hours, and you get
I
a
don't
little
think
printed
it
out
was the-
certificate.
Yeah, I don't think it was the new one, no.
Okay.
Is the ethics every 2 years?
Every 2 years.
We usually get a reminder from the town also, if we're behind on that.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, you had sent us, both Joe and myself, an email on December 5th with LHA mandatory board member training. Is that the one?
That's the one that we're discussing now.
Yeah,
And there's no update on it yet, so
okay,
we can't take it until you get it signed.
got it. Thank you.
So we're waiting for Lisa or somebody
Lisa Taylor, who's our specialist.
to tell us if, like, I have to do it again, or...
Correct. And why you haven't received your emails yet.
Okay.
Next item is discussion and review of the 2024 Performance Management Review by EOHLC and potential response to the PMR.
Mr. Chairman, I left this on because we had discussed it at the last meeting, and I had said that I was going to reach out to DHCD, which I did. There is no requirement for the board to respond. There is no expectation for the board to respond. So I think there may be some confusion in the language that's in there, but the board is not expected to respond.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any comments? Again, congratulations on the performance on the
Thank you.
PMR.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering what input the board has on that.
On the PMR?
Yeah.
Certainly, you could discuss it as a board, like if there were findings and you wanted corrective action for the findings, it's something that you would discuss at a board meeting, it's something that you would discuss with me. I don't think that the HCD needs the input from the board. I don't think they're looking for that. Certainly, if there were issues that were discovered in the PMR, I would expect that any board would discuss those findings with the director and make sure there was a corrective action in place. So I think that's what they're referring to.
We did discuss it last meeting, and I think the two issues we had were basically on rent collection. One was due to a quarterly report that was late by a few days, and the other one was due to the letters not being in the file when you had a discussion with the tenant.
Right.
And those are the only two negative findings. Is there anything else, any other commissioner wishes to discuss about the PMR?
I may be looking for more guidance from EOHLC on that, because when I look at the general guidance that they put out, I don't know, I mean, it says this is a comprehensive performance-based programming and that the boards have to participate, and I just don't see where the participation is. It's not clear to me.
The participation would be if there was findings, the board would need to participate on corrective action to make sure that we don't get those findings again.
Right.
But so the purpose of the PMR is it's an independent review from DHCD of the operation of the housing authority. So they have certain benchmarks that they look for, and they have certain criteria that they look for, such as vacancies, number of days vacant, the budget, whether or not you're way off budget, whether or not you're reporting your vacancies on time, whether or not you're filling your units on time. Basically, they're taking a snapshot of the operation, and the reason for the PMR is for transparency, to let people know where your operational issues are. If you don't have any, then that's a good thing, and it doesn't need to really be too much participation. Certainly, if there were corrective action items, we would be discussing those, and we would be discussing solutions for those.
Joe, prior to the Quincy Housing Authority taking management control of the Marshfield Housing Authority, when we had a PMR done, if there were 10 major items on the PMR, we failed 5 to 6 of them. And the board sat here for hours going through that PMR with the former executive director.
So how did then
And
DHCD
then the
interact
board,
with you?
then the board drafted a response.
Right,
That was pages long
right,
and submitted to DHCD.
right.
And DHCD accepted our responses.
So who interacted with DHCD at that time? Was it just the executive director or was the
No,
board
the
working
board-
through the
The
PMR?
board submitted the response.
If a PMR was of really poor condition operationally, you typically would get a housing management specialist from DHCD to actually come to the board meeting, which you might have had in the past. And they would actually come out here and discuss with the board some of the corrective action that needs to happen and some of the issues that were raised in the PMR.
That's all I have right now. Thank you.
Any old or new business, item number 9?
Old business. You're looking for that.
So old business, I had asked that the email from Kathleen Maresco
It's 1:35.
be given to us. And it says, from Kathleen Maresco dated August 22nd to Brian Willer at Federated Home, Hermes, subject new Marshfield account. And this is Kathleen writing. I am tasked with transferring funds to a new account. The Marshfield Housing Partnership and the Marshfield Housing Authority have merged into the Marshfield Housing Trust. I have filled out the new account form to the best of my ability and the transfer form. I have attached both. Can you or another member of the MMDT, that's the Massachusetts Municipal Depository Trust, please let me know what else I need to do or help me fill in any necessary blanks. Thank you very much for your assistance. Kathleen Maresco, Interim Treasurer Collector. So she does, state that the Marshfield Housing Partnership and the Marshfield Housing Authority have merged into the Marshfield Housing Trust.
I think what she was trying to say is the funds that were being held by the Marshfield Housing Authority
Right.
and the Marshfield Housing Partnership have merged into the Housing Trust account.
Right.
I think she left out the account words on
Exactly.
all of those.
So what I will do is
So
I'll
You want to talk to Kathleen and make sure she understands what's going on?
talk to I'll talk to Kathleen. Make sure she understands that the Marshfield Housing Authority has not merged into the Housing Trust. So she did put that in writing. Commissioner Peskovich was correct, and we'll address it accordingly. Thank you for providing that information.
You're welcome.
Any other old and new business? Seeing none, we'll go on to item 10. I don't have any other business not anticipated by myself, 48 hours in advance of the posted meeting. And then item 11 is the Executive Director's Report.
Mr. Chairman, there was a flurry of activity in the month of December. We had a boiler and domestic hot water system fail at 6 Anderson. We put in an emergency grant request and we were able to get the hot water system and the boiler replaced through the energy grant at no cost to the MHA. That work has been completed. We did the perk test up at Grace Ryder in preparation of design of a new septic system up there at Grace Ryder. We did have a capital planning meeting for 2024. Did our monthly food delivery, and unfortunately we had a tree go through a house at 305 Webster Street during the storm. The tree fell through the roof and into 2 bedrooms on the front of the house. There was approximately over $100,000 of damage. We have filed an insurance claim with Department of Housing Community Development. They have retained a contractor to make the repairs to the property. They are covering the loss. There will be a deductible to the Housing Authority, but they will be covering the majority of the loss. We have assisted in moving the family's furniture into storage. They've begun to make the repairs. I want to give a shout out to John. In the middle of the storm with those 50, 60 mile an hour winds, John got up on the roof, cut the tree out of for people's bedrooms, and then actually made a repair to the roof and made a temporary repair to the roof and topped the entire roof during the storm to prevent further damage to the house.
Wow.
So a big shout out to John. It was I would never have had let him go up on the roof. He did it without my knowledge. But for anyone that knows John, that's John, and he did an outstanding job.
Did you wear 100-pound weights or something?
He should be commended.
Wow.
He's not a small guy. Elderly Services did the insulation upgrade at T-Rock Gardens, which was grant funded. They're also doing an installation upgrade at 231 Caswell Street. There was an anti-bullying seminar held for the residents on December 15th. The residents had their party on the 23rd. We've been busy preparing for snow. There was Christmas meals delivered by Christina's, Christmas presents delivered to the homes of homebound residents from the senior center, and Christmas meals delivered to Grace Ryder from Gerard's Turkey Farm, and that was a donation. The septic tie-in for T-Rock Gardens is now out to bid. The bids are expected on January 26th. Once those bids come in, I'll be bringing to you a motion to award to the lowest bidder, and hopefully they can get that project going in the spring. And then we'll be moving on to design work for the new septic system at Grace Ryder.
Did we pass the perk test at Grace Ryder?
We did, yes. And the generator project is still in design with the electrical upgrade for both Grace Ryder and T-Rock.
And then at 305 Webster Street, is that family living elsewhere now?
They are. They're staying with family.
Okay.
Yeah.
And nobody got injured?
No, thank God. Actually, we had 3 properties get destroyed in that storm. One in Marshfield, one in Quincy, and one in Hanson.
Wow. That's a lot of damage, 100K.
It was a lot of damage. It was structural. I mean, the tree went right through the roof, so it was structural.
We were lucky, nobody got injured?
Yeah, we were very, very lucky.
Anybody get injured at any of the other housing authorities?
No, the one in Hanson, ironically, was the chief of fire department's mother. So they were very helpful, needless to say. And then the other one was a roof came off of a building. So there was some real heavy wind activity in that storm.
We get some more in a couple of days.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of rain on Wednesday.
No wonder our deductibles coming up.
Keep those trees away from structures.
Yeah.
We don't want any trees within 10 feet of construction.
What kind of tree was it? Was it like a pine or something?
It was a pine.
Yeah.
The property has pines all over it. I mean, over the last 3 years, I think we've cut probably 20 trees down on that property. There was so many trees on that
Should have
property.
done 21, huh?
We scrubbed another 10. Unfortunately, it's very costly to get rid of these trees when they get to be those tall pines.
Nobody traced them.
No.
No.
Nope.
There used to be a dump nearby.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question, Mr. Chairman. The Grace Rider perk test, where is that anticipated to go? Where is that leach field anticipated to go? I'm looking at the Grace Rider building.
It's still in design, so
So the test was done where?
I believe it was over to the back right of the building. But I don't know where they're proposing to put the new system because they have to work around where the old system is. But I can, preliminary plans, as soon as they're available, I can bring them in for the board.
Yeah, so there's a big open area there between New Street and the building.
Yep.
I was worried about the fields over there, the soccer fields.
Yeah, no,
With the
we
new
would,
irrigation.
we would never interfere with their property.
Anybody have any other questions, thoughts? Seeing none, I'll make a motion for adjournment. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Hi.
Next meeting.
Next meeting will be
Are we going to
the
do a roll call on that one?
first Tuesday in February.
Yep, so that will be February 6th.
Did we have a unanimous?
Unanimous approval of the adjournment.
Yes, we did. Did we?